Now, one of the biggest questions I see every year about this time, it's October 26th today, is when should I sit all day for whitetails? And just came out with a blog the other day about it, but I really feel like a lot of times there's two things you need to consider, but I feel a lot of times that hunters are really wasting some time. And of course, people say, well, you're never wasting your time in the woods and sitting in a stand. Yeah, I get that. Bad day in the woods is better than a good day at work and that kind of thing. I understand all that, and I understand those comments. But that being said, if you're like me, I can hunt just about whenever I want, but at the same time, I still have to work. I still have to write. I still have to create videos, and want to spend time with my family, my kids, my friends. And so my hunting time is precious just like yours. And I want to make the most of it when I'm out in the woods, and that can be said completely for an all-day sit. Right now it's October 26th. We've had a great morning. We had 4 does go by this morning, 3 of them really close, just right down here again. And then we had, at 9 o'clock, we had a real nice 10-point, looks to be a 3-year-old, chasing some does right down behind me, within bow range. Great to see him. The rut is, really starting. This is definitely the pre-rut. This is not the time to sit in a stand all day. The bucks really just aren't cruising all day. And sure, there's always that random buck. You can kill a buck during an 85-degree day in November. You can kill a buck during 40-mile-an-hour winds, during the middle of a rainstorm, a snowstorm, and even in the middle of the day on October 26th. But the odds aren't very high. So I choose to get out of the woods, do some other things, and I'd rather sit in actually a designated evening sit tonight. So there's a couple things to consider. One is timing. It's not quite time yet to sit in an all-day stand, even if you have an all-day stand. This is an all-day stand. We're located between bedding in a lot of different directions, 100 to 200 yards away. We have food up there, big food and ag up there, ag down below. So we're in one of those spots where we could consider this an all-day stand. It's not on food, just on food. It's not just in a bedding area. If it's just in a bedding area, great morning stand, but as those deer leave the bedding area, go to food in the evening, the closer you get to dark, less likely you are to see deer. Same with the food source. If you're sitting on that food source in the morning, for one, you might bump those deer in the morning going in, just like you might bump deer out of a bedding area going in the afternoon. But two, you're real limited. You're on that food source. It's, even if you hunt that food source in the evening, not a great spot to sit in the morning. So you think about location. I really like to be somewhere in between bedding and feeding. This is a really good funnel system and cruising spot where deer are going up and down this ridge both ways. It's a big X of movement, so perfect all-day sit. I like to wait till deer are actually and bucks are actually moving all day, and that's the peak of the rut and post-rut. Right now it's October 26th again. I look at, pretty soon we're going to come up to the rut shutdown a little bit, where you have a phase where every buck has a doe, and that's early November. But once we get into the 4th, 5th, 6th of November, really a time to take a chance on an all-day sit if you have an all-day stand location. And then into the end of the rut, where you get into the 10th, the 15th, and even to the 20th of November, great time to sit all day for that cruising, wandering monster. It's not quite time yet, and I want you to think about value. If you're sitting in a stand all day, does it meet the requirements of a great morning stand and a great evening stand, and is it the time of the year for a great midday stand? If not, you're better off sitting in an evening specific stand location, something that's related to food, maybe a water hole on the way to food, or you're better off sitting in a morning specific stand that relates to bedding, cruising between bedding. And if you have that perfect stand location where it's a little bit mix of all, you can try it. But I'd prefer a lot of times, more often than not, to actually hunt a very high value evening stand, a very high value morning stand, and sit in that morning stand till 1, 2 in the afternoon, and then make my way over to that evening stand where I can get in and out successfully without spooking a lot of deer. So really think about values. Think about how you can assign those values to what specific time when you make that decision to sit in a stand all day.